All right, these Volvo connectors, these bullet connectors, have a problem with them rotting. And the insulation around them falls off. There's a little door here on the back of it that you can pop open, and this is what retains the wiring connector inside the housing. It slides in, and then you shut the little door on the back, and it keeps it from moving backwards or forwards. Now, when that insulation rots off, that's the only thing holding it in there, so the wires tend to slide out. And there's a little shelf. You see how they go? There's a little shelf on each side, on each end, that keeps the insulation from removing. What I'm going to use with this is double wall heat shrink tubing. And you won't cut some pieces about the length of where it needs to be held inside the connector. You can kind of guess at that, snip it off. You may have to trim it later once you shrink it, but a little shorter is not bad. Too long, and you'll have a whole bunch of mess to clean up to get the little retaining door to work. Use a little torch here, shrink it down. It takes about 3 layers of double wall to fit the housing, so it won't slide in and out. Squeeze it around there, let it cool. And if the next piece won't slide over it, just grab some needle nose there and kind of stretch it open. Single wall rips really easily. This stuff will take quite a bit of stretching, and it will shrink right back to the original shrink ratio. Once you get the second one on there, you'll notice that you can still see that the terminal is thicker than where the wire is. You'll have to cut a little piece to make up the difference there before you put the final one on. It's not quite thick enough. It needs one more layer, but we need to cover that right there. I'll just cut a little piece, stretch it, and slide it past the terminal so that it thickens up that little narrower part there. Just be careful when you're doing this. You don't poke a hole because it will rip. It's pretty strong, but it will rip. And you have to work kind of quickly after you do that because it will start to shrink back to like it just did. It shrunk back. Give it another stretch. Go real quick, slide it over before it has a chance to change back. There you go. And shrink it down. Now we can put the final third layer on there. Looks like that's going to be a little bit too long. We'll have to trim it. Well, the door kind of goes around it. It's almost there. There's a little bit of a gap still around the heat shrink in the housing. We'll put one more piece on there. There's basically 2 styles of connectors that I've seen on this. You can see the other one behind there. There's this Volvo bullet style connector, and then you've got the locking one with the red slide lock in it. Now you can buy replacement female terminals like the ones I'm repairing here from Dave's Volvo page, but that you have to cut and splice the wire, and he has a limited wire color, so you kind of gotta change colors in some places, which could be an issue later if you're trying to look at a wiring diagram. Just make sure if you do that, you leave enough of the original wire visible so you can tell what color it is on the wiring harness. I did that on the fuel pump repair instead of doing this. I wanted to make sure that one wasn't gonna be a problem. This particular connector, you know, it's a good fit. It won't go through there, so that's about how thick it needs to be. This is the cruise control vacuum pump connector. And the wiring for this, for the vacuum pump, is orange, gray, red from 1, 2 to 3. So orange is 1, gray is 2, red is 3. And it is marked on the door which terminal number is which. I'm trying to snip off a little bit of that extra there. Just got to be careful. It's easier with the razor blade. Just don't nick the wire or cut through it. You want to make sure that that door closes easily and you're not having to squeeze it really hard, because it will pop loose eventually. That's a good fit. That's how you do it.